Okay, so we're just going to look at configuring DHCP on a Cisco router in this packet tracer activity. So pretty standard network in front of us with 3 PCs, a switch and a router. So we're going to do it the correct way. We've got a console connection from this laptop on the left to the router. So click on the laptop and go into desktop, and click on terminal and click OK. And we've got our sort of standard bump about the connection. We're not going to go into the initial configuration. So we're into the router now because there's been no passwords or anything set on it, so it's been an open router straight out of the box. So first command is enable, then configure terminal. If you see things going really quickly, that's just me pressing tab to auto-complete. So I'm just going to change the name of the router to R1, and then log into the interface that I want to be using, which is gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. Okay, so I'm going to configure an IP address for this interface now. I'm going to keep it pretty bog standard, so something pretty common, which will be 192.168.1.1, and then don't forget the default subnet mask. Okay, so that's our IP address configured, and let's turn that port on because it's off by default. Now you'll notice on the actual diagram it's turned to green now, so that's open. So now what I need to do is I need to configure the enable DHCP on the network and then set our pool. So if I just type exit and then DHCP pool net 1. Okay, so that's basically naming this pool network 1, net 1. You can have anything you want in that name, whether you want to call it a branch name or your own name or a department name, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so the network is 192.168.1.0, and the default subnet mask again 255.2.5.0. So, oops, got in wrong, sorry, missed the dot out. Okay, so notice how the network address is different to the router address. So the router is 1.1, so the router is part of this network, so that's the network address, which is 1.0. Okay, so now I just need to tell the configuration what router I'm actually trying to enable this on. So it's 192.168.1.1. Okay, and then I can come out of that now. So that's enabling DHCP on this network on that router. Okay, so now I want to set my range, so my DHCP range. Yeah, so these are the addresses I want to exclude. So I'd want to do this if I have fixed devices on my networks. If I want to put a printer in, I want to put a server in, there could potentially be static IP addresses and excluded from this range. So 192.168.1.1, and then let's keep it simple, 1.10. Okay, so that's our exclusion. Let's come out of this. Then let's copy it to the startup configuration. That's saving it onto the router itself into non-volatile RAM. So I can close that now. So if I click on these PCs now and go on to configuration, click on the interface itself. So it's static by default. So if I change this to DHCP, notice how I get 11. So that was outside the first number outside my range. Click on the second PC, 12, and then should be 13. Okay, there you go. So that's DHCP enabled on them 3 devices. Now, the next device that comes on will get 14 and so on. So that's a general quick run through of how to configure DHCP on this packet tracer activity.